Good afternoon. Welcome to the Inspiring Inking Facebook page and welcome to the Inspiring Inking YouTube channel. I'm Amanda Fowler. It's Tuesday, the 13th of September 2022. If you are here and watching live, please give me a light and sound check. Make sure that you can see and hear me clearly. And if you're joining, watching the replay, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come and hang out with us. It's been a bit of a week. I am sure you are all kind of feeling a bit sixes and sevens. That's kind of the best way I can describe how I'm doing right now. Obviously, we lost Her Majesty the Queen last week, and the nation, the world is kind of reeling from that. And I kind of thought long and hard about whether or not I was going to go live today. And I thought it was important that we kind of gathered and chatted, perhaps shared some stories because I'm sure we've all got some, and just do what we do, which is kind of hang out together and spend time with each other. So I'm here, and I'm very grateful that you're here too. There will be a little bit of crafting at the end. I've got a new stamp set and one that I'm excited to share with you. So it looks like people are joining, which is wonderful. Good afternoon, Roz and Anne and Marion and Karen and Michelle and Scylla and Margaret. Oh, everybody's arriving. So drizzly in pool, says Lorraine. Yes, it's raining here today as well, which is really good. We had 3.5 inches of rain whilst we were away. So I'm pleased that it has started to rain. So hello, Shelley and Donna as well. Hi, Janet. She's saying that she's remembering the dear Queen and condolences to all the royal family indeed. So as I said at the beginning, I wasn't sure whether I was going to be live today. So it's tricky, but I love the opportunity to tell a story or two, and I love to hear your stories. So if you've got any stories to tell about the Queen, or any kind of royal dit, that would be lovely to hear. I have a couple of my own to share, and then I'm going to give you a little update on the wedding, because we did have a wedding last week, and then I'm going to do some crafting. So I know some of you may well be going to Edinburgh or to London to pay your last respects. The funeral, obviously, for Her Majesty is on Monday. It's a bank holiday here in the UK. And obviously there's a lot of televised, the TV here is full of remembrance things and snapshots in history and all sorts of really interesting things. And actually, Brian and I were channel hopping yesterday, and we were watching the most incredible program about the Royal Mint and how they actually sculpt the coins. I've never thought about it before, but obviously all of our coinage will have to change to King Charles III. And obviously it will be a rolling change, but they will need to start making new coins and new notes. And the image of the Queen faces whichever way it is, but it now for King Charles has got to face the other way, and they sculpt out of clay and all sorts of things. It's really interesting. Yeah, so if you get a chance to see that program, that's really good. I don't know how much of my history you know. So I'll kind of just give you a little a little bit of a snapshot. For the best part of 20 years, I was a volunteer with Girl Guiding UK. And for my international friends, that's in some countries, Canada, it's Girl Guides. In the US, it's Girl Scouts. But it's a worldwide organization. And I was quite heavily involved with international work. And for a time, I ran a program which was based around community development. And we worked in small teams, usually about 6 or 8 young women aged between 18 and 30. And they would work with a guide association overseas, and they would travel there and they would work in conjunction with them. So it was a real partnership type of cooperation, working on all sorts of different projects. So one of my projects, and the reason that I love Thailand, was I worked with the Thai Girl Guiding Association right up in the north of Thailand. And we actually built toilets for a school. So we dug pits and we built walls, and we worked alongside the guiding organization in order to get this very necessary project built for the school. So that's a type of projects we worked on, and we worked all around the world. So I was actually invited twice to meet the Queen. The first time was a cocktail party in Buckingham Palace. And I'm sat here smiling because it's like I spent most of my time like this, because I was looking at the ceilings and looking at the paintings and looking at the carpets and everything else. But at these type of events, you are gathered into small groups, and then the Queen moves from group to group. And she spoke to me. I shook her hand and she spoke to me. And my overriding memory of that was she was very small, just not very tall, but her presence was just enormous. And she had this amazing smile. And she had such a way with her that she made you feel as though you were the only person in the room. She would look straight into your eyes and talk to you about, in my instance, that we were talking about community development projects within the Commonwealth. Yeah, it was amazing. And kind of my experience the second time around was equally as amazing, but it was a garden party. And the Buckingham Palace gardens are incredible. And again, I was there because of the work that I've been doing. And again, I got to speak to Her Majesty, and it was amazing. So I know I'm doubly blessed. And I know lots of people have very similar stories. But yes, such a smile and such a force of nature, and just that ability to make you feel important. Yeah, so there we go. So there's my my stories. If you've got stories, please share them in the comments, and I will read through them. I'm just going to kind of scroll back because lots more people have joined. Hello, Mum, Pauline, Deborah's here, Judith's here. Hello, Stella from Texas. Joanne's found us as well. Hello, Joanne. Margaret wants to hear about the wedding. I promise I will tell you about the wedding. Anne says she's old enough to remember the coronation, grouped around a black and white TV in a neighbour's house. I also have a vague memory of my dad wearing black armbands, which she thinks was for King George VI. So lots of memories over the year. Marion's going to be watching Her Majesty's funeral in Australia on Monday evening. And they're having a public holiday on Thursday of next week. Roz wants to hear about the wedding as well. And so sad about the Queen. Good afternoon, Maureen. Margaret's also remembering the coronation, crammed into a neighbour's house round a small black and white TV. Yes, Donna, wonderful, wonderful memories. Hello, Mary. Donna's saying news of the wedding. And Deborah's saying good morning from Alberta. Okay. Right. So let me have a slurp of my tea because I don't want to end up with a dry throat. So we were in Italy for a week. The wedding was last Monday, which was the 5th. And there were 10 of us there for the wedding. So there was Kim and Dom and Dom's parents and his brother and his girlfriend. And then there were Brian and I and Connor and his girlfriend Lydia as well. So we all had an apartment in, I want to say in a block, but it wasn't in a block. It was kind of, they were like, I can't describe, this is going to go well, isn't it, really? But it was all sort of around a pool. So we all had individual apartments, but we were all together, if that kind of makes sense. The weather was glorious. So I've been tracking the weather in Sermione, which is at the bottom of Lake Garda, for weeks. And it's been saying thunderstorms the whole time. And yeah, there were no thunderstorms. It was 28 to 31, 32 every day. So glorious, glorious sunshine. We went out for days. We went paddleboarding. We had wonderful dinners together. And we hang out by the pool. We just had a really relaxing time. I got bitten so badly. This is a recurring theme. The second I get bitten, mosquitoes bite me and I end up with great big welts on my legs and things. So it's a good job my dress is quite long because that would have been really bad pictures. But so any bug tips are gratefully received for next time we happen to go near a lake. The wedding was Monday afternoon, and it was held in an olive grove in one of the parks in Sermione, and it was in English and Italian. So for it to be legal, it had to be conducted in Italian and was also then translated. We didn't have any phones or cameras at all during the service. So there are official photographs, but we're kind of waiting for those to come through. So I know you're waiting for pictures. There will be pictures, just not yet. It was about 32 degrees. It was hot. But it was just so beautiful. And if ever you get the opportunity to read the translated version, unless you understand Italian, but the articles of marriage in Italian, they are so beautiful. It's all about family and taking care of one another and family first. And it's always, it's just, yeah, it was so beautiful. Kim and Dom had organised everything with the help of an Italian wedding planner, and every single thing they planned went off perfectly. It blows my mind. They obviously they had specific requirements, and there were things that they wanted to do and to happen, and every single thing just came off beautifully. So we had the service. We had lots of family photos. Oh, I need to tell you my dress. So there was consternation about my dress because I had a dress that was slightly snug and a floaty dress. I went with the floaty dress, and the reason for that was it was 32 degrees. And yeah, I didn't want anything too fitted. It was, yeah, we needed flowy things. I don't actually know whether there are any pictures of me. It's really funny because I was helping Kim with her dress and her veil and different things, and just so wrapped up in the day. It was amazing. We had canapes and wine, and then we went to dinner. Oh, Kim and Dom went off and had pictures by the lake and all sorts. It was just amazing. It was really, really wonderful. So if anybody is ever thinking about going and getting married in Italy, I would recommend it. It was brilliant. Brian looked very dapper, have to say. In fact, everybody did. It was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, Heather. Heather's top tip: buy your bug treatment in the country you are staying in. I like that top tip. Yeah, so you mean your bug spray. So I now travel with an antibiotic cream that I put on my bites as soon as I get them, because I know that they'll get infected. But like a preventative bug spray, that's a really good point. Deborah's asking, where in Italy were we? It's a place called Sermione, which is right at the bottom of Lake Garda. And it's on a peninsula. It's so beautiful. I can't tell you how beautiful it was. It's just amazing. It was just every single thing. Even to the point. So we went for dinner, and Kim and Dom had arranged a cake. Kim's vegetarian; she can't eat dairy, so obviously getting a cake made can be quite tricky. But this cake, oh my goodness, it was, I don't know, 14 inches tall. It was multi-layered of mousses and cream, but not cream because there was no dairy in it, and sponges and layers and crunchy bits, and oh my goodness. And let's just mention gelato. Probably twice a day, every day. There was a day when we actually had a gelato so big I had to put some of it in the bin. Can you imagine putting ice cream in the bin? It was so much. It was huge. But I've got to go researching recipes. So, true gelato, a fruit-based gelato, has no dairy in it. So it's not ice cream, it's gelato. So I need to sort out some recipes. There are a lot of gelatos that also have cream in them, but Kim could just have loads of it. And yeah, it was delicious. So yeah, so that was really cool. And then, so after the wedding, so the day after the wedding, kind of everyone kind of scattered. Kim and Dom have done some traveling. Well, everyone was doing traveling. Brian and I went to Verona. And we did a walking food and wine tour that Tuesday evening. And it was brilliant. We got to taste lots of wines. I absolutely recommend Laguna, which is a local white wine. Absolutely delicious. And yeah, I've got some brilliant, I have to say, I've got some brilliant photos. I actually managed to get some really nice sunset photos and things. So I'll be sharing those on my blog. But we found out a really interesting snippet of information. So many of you will know that Verona is the famous city of Romeo and Juliet, a play by William Shakespeare. Now, it's not a true story. Okay, so Shakespeare probably based it off people of the time, but it's not a true story. And apparently, one of the biggest tourist attractions in Verona is Juliet's balcony. And I know many of you will have seen, there have been several movies over the years. And it's this huge tourist attraction. So when we were taking our tour, somebody on the tour said, well, are we not going there? And the tour guide said, well, I need to explain to you about this balcony. And it seems that in the 1930s, Verona had an influx of tourists who'd seen a Romeo and Juliet movie, and they wanted to see Juliet's balcony, which didn't exist. So the enterprising government of the time found a balcony on a building that was kind of the right era and the right style, found a building that was owned by a family or with a similar name to Juliet's on a similar street, and attached to the balcony to this house, and it became Juliet's balcony. So some very enterprising city officials designed Juliet's balcony and have subsequently got little plaques on Romeo's house and Juliet's school and Juliet's tomb. So it just made me giggle because, what a what a wonderful way of actually, encouraging tourism. So, yeah. But there is a film more recently. Is it called Letters to Juliet? I haven't seen it, but you can actually put, there's a post box and you can put a letter to Juliet, and there are a group of Juliets who reply. So there you go. So that's good. Okay. So let's have a look. Oh, Lorraine is saying Italian gelato is the best thing ever. Ooh, Donna's saying there's a machine that uses fruit that you can freeze and it comes out like ice cream, all natural. Judith's saying that's a very sweet film. So yeah, so there you go. So all these things that you didn't know. But Verona was a beautiful, beautiful city. And the Italians were just so welcoming and so lovely. And the food was incredible. Whether we were eating like a really simple pasta dish, or a really sort of high-end, what I call a posh dish, yeah, amazing, absolutely amazing. And now we're back. And it's all kind of a bit crazy, but in 2 weeks we've got a UK celebration as well. So I am in need of some vegan cake recipes, please. Ones that work, because Kimberly and Dom are having a celebration with desserts. And I've got several cakes that I'm making, but I want to make some vegan cakes as well. So any hints, tips, links to recipes, email me your favorite recipes. Hang on, let me put my email address up. Quick. Email me with your favorite vegan recipes, please, for cakes. That would be really, really awesome. So let's see. Yeah, Heather's saying Letters to Juliet is a lovely film. And Anne's saying it's a bit like writing to Sherlock Holmes. Brilliant. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's really cool. So we're kind of, I don't know, it's like I said right at the beginning, it's kind of been a really surreal week. 10 days or so. I have to say, the bit at the beginning and the end of the wedding, the traveling, was horrendous. So both flights were delayed, extensively delayed. The first flight going out, we were up at ridiculous o'clock in the morning, like 4 o'clock, and we actually ended up with like a 3.5 hour delay. So if you are traveling anywhere on a plane at the moment, I would absolutely recommend that you make sure that you've got plenty of books to read and you just anticipate delays, because everybody was delayed going out and back. And actually, I've said we're going to Vienna for the Stampin' Up convention in November, and my flights have been changed twice already. So I think travel is going to be taking quite a bit of a hit. But we were delayed coming back as well. So yeah, we were supposed to be home about 10 o'clock at night, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, we're a bit the traveling bit was horrendous. The bit in the middle, awesome. Okay, so I have a few Stampin' Up things to tell you about. There are 2 promotions running at the moment. There's Perfect Partners, which is a set of 6 dies that I sent you the information about a couple of weeks ago. They're whilst stocks last, but they're also only available during September. If you need any sort of additional information, if you're not getting emails from me, then do email me and I'll put you on my list. But equally, I can just send you the flyers. That's not a problem. There's also every Thursday. So this week, 2 more Thursdays, this week and next week, we have weekly deals. Now, here in Europe, there's a bit of a glitch going on. So on a Thursday morning, there's a bit of time where you can get last week's weekly deals and this week's weekly deals. Because Stampin' Up is putting the information up for Australia but it's actually showing in our store as well. So depending on what time of day you look at the weekly deals, you might get 2 lots of weekly deals. I haven't yet figured out what the time frame is for it, but it's kind of a lucky thing if you happen to come across that. So that's really good. But there is really, really exciting news for this Thursday. Look at that. 24-hour stamp sale. 15% off. 3 pages worth of stamps. It's very exciting. So I'm going to be emailing out this list. It's in alphabetical order. So I know I know many of you have a wish list. So you'll be able to pick it out, but there's a page number there as well. But it's only for 24 hours. So if you're in the UK, that's 11 p.m. on Wednesday till 5 to 11 p.m. on Thursday. If you're in Europe, it's midnight to midnight. But obviously our time zones are slightly different. So, yeah. And if you are in North America or South Pacific, it'll be midnight to midnight for you guys. I think. But it's Thursday. There are some awesome stamp sets on here. Now, I know I always get asked which stamp sets. All of the stamp sets. Oh, I don't know if can you hear that? Where we live is quite near to the Portsmouth Naval Base. And we're getting a lot of helicopters and various other planes and things flying over at the moment. It's very loud. So all of the stamps are in the annual catalogue. So there's no stamps in the autumn winter catalogue. But if you're looking for Christmas stamps, there are some really good ones in here as well. There's Dragonfly Garden is in here. There are so many awesome stamp sets. Party puffins. You know we love party puffins because it's got one of the best happy birthdays in there. I'm just looking to see. Biggest wish. £13.60. Hang on. Page 40. Let me show you. If you haven't got that yet, why haven't you got it? If you haven't got that yet, £13.60. Yeah. That's amazing. I'm just saying what I didn't I didn't go through it earlier. Oh, so many. Yeah, lots of wonderful things. Vintage Tools is on there. Whiskey Business. Season of Chic. Oh, brilliant. So lots and lots. So don't miss out. Obviously, if your order is £45 or more, you will get October's craft along. Can you believe that? October. We will be doing Christmas in October. For those of you that are doing September's, we're going autumnal. But October, we're going to be going Christmas, which is very cool. Okay, so I am going to do a couple of cards with this stamp set, which is called Amazing Year. Now, I've only just bought this, but it is on the list. And it is called Amazing Year. It is £17.85. on Thursday. And this has been on my list for ages. And the reason for that is because of the images and the sentiments. So I get asked all the time. It's probably the biggest question I get asked is, what's a good stamp set to get started with? And I love this one because of the images on it. So you've got flowers, you've got a parcel, and you've got some nice sentiments. You've got a really cool little happy birthday there, but a big birthday wishes as well. And the sentiments aren't too over the top and flowery. So yeah. So I thought I would make a couple of really quick cards using that set today. And yeah. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we will get started. So okay, so can you hear me properly? And have we got any Dalek sounds? Or is it, or have I managed to switch the microphone on and off correctly? Okay. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. So this is a cling stamp set. So it's red rubber. And I am going to start out with this. And it's it's kind of interesting. When I was I decided what I was doing today 3 weeks ago because I'd decided what I was going to do 3 weeks ago before we went away. But when I was pulling the colours together, I realised that I've used black quite a lot in the project, and it's mainly because I'm using Memento black ink. But I did think it was a fitting thing. So this paper is from the He's the Man set, and I love this. I love this side as well, actually. It's a little check. But you've got a little moustache and ties and bow ties and shoes and things. And I've used the Stylish Shapes dies on both projects. Again, this is one of those things that if you haven't got this set yet, you need it. So it has 1, 2, it has 4 banners, which fit with so many different sentiments. 5 circles. Oh, actually, it should have 5 banners. I'm missing a banner. 5 circles and 5 squares. So yeah, it has got 5 banners, but I was using it for team training, which is happening on Saturday. I better go and find that and put that to one side. But anyway, so I've already die cut. So this base is Sahara sand. I've got some basic white and some basic black. I just need to do that trim. Ooh, got a wonky edge. There we go. And this is just such a simple card. So I'm using the birthday wishes. And I could use stays on. But because I'm going to be using the alcohol markers blends later, that's why I've got my Memento black out. That's so simple. And I say this often about men's cards, that I think it's really, really important that you find something that is simple and not too complicated, because oftentimes that's what they prefer. Certainly Brian does not like anything that's kind of fancy or frilly or grungy. He famously asked me if I'd trodden on a card once, and I'd spent hours making it look distressed. Said, that's such a shame. Did you stand on it? So, you know, I tend to go very simple with cards for guys, or I do a fancy fold, something that's moving, because that often helps. But speaking of my beloved husband, it was actually our wedding anniversary on Friday, and we went to the Bombay Gin Distillery on Friday. So I will tell you all about that next week, because there's too many stories, too many things been going on to tell you everything. So let's just pull this together. And I have layered it onto basic white, just to lift it a little bit. So you've still got the black, which tones in here, but it's not quite as deep. And then I'm just going to add that one on. There, like I said, really simple. Simple, simple. There we go. Finished card. So the paper is absolutely doing the talking here. Now you could use a white sentiment, but I liked it much better with this Sahara sand. I just saw it kind of toned much better. There we go. So that's one super quick card. Vals, yes, we did. We had a tasting and all sorts. So I'll tell you all about it next week. It was very cool. So card number 1. And then for card number 2, let me pull everything out. This is a little bit more detailed. I'll pull all these pieces together. Just move all of that out of the way. A minute. Okay. So first up, I have got some polka dots. So this is the awesome dots and spots die. It's huge. It's bigger than a standard card. So you can cover the whole of the front of a card. I've actually trimmed it down a little bit because I wanted to layer it onto some white card, like so. I'm just going to pull that together. Now, obviously, when you've got something like this, it's kind of a bit tricky as to how you're going to put your glue on. So I try and zigzag all the way along like that. So can you see? And then in theory, it doesn't ooze out everywhere. So again, I've got some die cut circles. So these are actually bigger. And this time I'm going to be using the Posy image. And I'm going to do a bit of fussy cutting and layering as well. Okay, so there's the image. What I'm actually going to do is just grab another piece of white card and stamp the image again. Ooh, that's a bit inky. Those bits are okay. Well, let me just I want to get that little tag again, so let's try. No. Third time lucky. Fourth time lucky. Oh, that's too funny. Obviously, my ink pad is a bit inky today. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Right, I've got ink all over my hands. Right, I am just going to go and wash my hands because can you see I've got fingerprints all over this. If I start trying to mess around with this now, I'm going to make a huge mess. So chat amongst yourselves. Right. Okay. So I have got Granny Apple Green, Bermuda Bay and Pool Party blends. Now, this is actually Coastal Cabana, and we don't have Coastal Cabana blends. I thought, excuse me, I thought that I was missing some, but I've checked in the catalogue and we don't have them. So that's why I've got this kind of mixture. So I'm just going to colour in this tag. And I'm just going to put a little bit of the Bermuda Bay. I'm just kind of putting through sort of 3 layers. So I've gone like a mid-tone, a dark tone. Can you see those 2 tones? And then I'm going to pull it out with the lighter one, but that's not working. Oh dear. Okay, we'll just go with the dark tone instead. That's fine. Sometimes what you think's going to work doesn't. So I'm just going to use that lighter. That one. Okay, so I'm going to get my scissors and just snip those out, and then I'm going to work on the main image. So these I'm actually going to 3D onto the card with some dimensional pads. And when you're working with blends, always make sure that you are working on some grid paper or some scrap paper. Whatever you do, do not work on your favorite dining room table, because as you can see, it comes through. And I would hate your table to be ruined. So let's just cut this. It's actually hard to chat whilst I'm cutting because I'm kind of concentrating. Okay, so that's going to 3D there, and that one is there as well. I think I actually will see. I might do that one as well in a minute. But let's just get some colouring in, and it is so therapeutic. If you are having a tough time, a little bit of colouring in can really help. Obviously, only if you like colouring in there. I do have some of my lovely customers who really don't enjoy colouring in. So again, I'm trying to concentrate and chat. It doesn't always go to plan. So what I'm doing with these leaves is some of them I'm doing one of the shades of Granny Apple Green. Some of them I'm doing 2. And then some of them I'm kind of blending and going back over them. And it just gives you different shades and tones, because the way that the light hits the leaves and so on, it does all look slightly different. And then I'm just going kind of either side of the stalks there. So let me just bring it up so you can see a little bit better, just to give a little bit more dimension. And then put it down and look at it again, because sometimes you'll find that you've kind of missed something. So I am going to start with just one shade. These flowers. And I am actually, even this one that I'm going to 3D, I will colour it in because potentially you may see it. Sort of underneath. See, and that's lovely just as it is. But obviously if you're adding a little bit more shading, you can do that, and that will kind of add a bit of interest. And then if you're going to blend, use this tip, the bullet tip, to blend. If you try and do it using the brush tip, what will tend to happen is it will end up splaying, and then you can't really use it very well. There we go. Okay, so there we go. Hi, Carol. Connecticut's in the house. Thank you for joining us today. Right, so I have got the happy birthday. I'm going to pop it on this granny apple green. I think that will give a nice kind of contrast. So let's just start pulling this together. And I've lost my dimensionals again. Thank you. So let's pop that there. So we're going to pop that down. There's my honest. Oh, that's my happy birthday. Okay. So let's get some more dimensionals. You can't have too many dimensionals. And make sure you put enough on so it doesn't sink in the middle. Oh, hang on a minute. I want that fairly central. And then I'm going to have this happy birthday just overlap a tiny bit down the bottom. Just there. Move all of that. so much mess on my desk. Right, and then I've got some butterflies. Some of these lovely brass butterflies that will just, nearly upside down. Just look how that black makes that pop. So let's see. Have 3 little brass butterflies as well. And then look. So you've got a bit of the 3D. Actually, bear with me. I did it under the flower, but I didn't do it under this tag. This needs colour. Whoa, stay. Because you can see it underneath. There we go. That's better. So it's very simple colour palette, but a really, really lovely stamp set. There you go. So I hope that you have enjoyed the cards today. Very simple cards, brilliant stamp set. Don't forget, there's a stamp sale starting on Thursday. 24 hours only though, so don't miss out. I'll send out an email with the link so you can go and highlight your catalogue of all the things that you need. All of the products that you've seen today, you can purchase in my online store. If you pop over to my blog, oh no, not that one, that one, www.inspiredinking.com. There's a link to my online store. You'll be able to see close-ups of all the projects, and there's lots of creative inspiration. And make sure that you subscribe to my blog updates. And here on Facebook and YouTube, click the subscribe or the like button, and then you'll always get notified when I'm going live. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all next week. Goodbye.